There's two types of investors. So first of all, you've got your...
Rich or rich.
Yeah, rich or really rich.
Hi everyone, welcome to Make It Happen TV. I'm Spencer Lodge.
And I'm Lewis Allsopp. Welcome to my show.
It's real estate chats at your show.
I was waiting for the reaction then.
Oh God, oh man, he's taking over. Help me, mum. So right, this episode is going to be all about people that buy, sell, rent, landlords, this kind of stuff, related not to salespeople, but related more to people that are in the market as clients.
The interest in the market.
Okay, so everyone kind of talks about it. They kind of have an opinion of it.
Yes.
They either obviously live in a home, they rent a home, so that lots of people go and see a show home, they see a new development, They're kind of interested in that kind of stuff. So it seems to be kind of the kind of something that's part of our everyday staple to be talking about this kind of stuff.
Every person you walk past, no matter who it is in the street, they're all some way involved in it. That's the interesting thing.
Okay, so if you like our videos and you enjoy our videos, please subscribe. If you're enjoying it on a podcast, I hope you're having fun today listening into us and you look forward to the next episodes. We're going to talk about, let's talk about buying real estate first of all in Dubai.
Yes.
So, you know that I buy and sell property myself and have done for many years. I hear people, particularly agents that I've spoken to, talk about prices going down in recent times.
Oh, yes.
Does that make it a seller's market, a buyer's market? Does it make it an agent's market? What does it make it?
It depends. I mean, the buyers and sellers market only really varies on the supply and demand. If buyers are interested and there's no properties, it's a seller's market because they can tighten the grip, and vice versa. If there's no buyers and there's loads of properties, you've got a buyer's market where the buyers can, dictate the price to a degree. Where we are today, everyone is interested in the prices. It's the big thing. What's going on? Prices are coming down. It's only going to go further. I'm not buying at the moment because prices are going to go further. I say, okay, you carry on paying your 150, 200,000 a year rent for the next 2 years, 3 years, and there's 600 grand there, but you're okay. You don't want to buy. So look, the prices have dropped. There's no qualms about that. There is a reason though, and this is what I try and explain to people. Why have they come down? What's the reason they've come
that's
down?
important to know.
It's not rocket science. You go back to 2000, and I think it was 2013, 2014, the government implemented the transfer fee, so it went from 2% to 4%, they doubled the transfer fee. Most importantly, they changed the loan to value. So your loan to value has gone from 85, sometimes 90%, 75 to 65%.
Okay, so for the benefit of our audience that might not know some of this terminology that you talk about all the time, what does loan to value mean?
So it's the loan, how much loan you're getting against the property value. So hypothetically,
I've got to put a deposit of 35% down and get a 65% mortgage, and that's the example, yeah?
Correct. So if you use that as an example, that it's not about people wanting to be able to buy a home in Dubai at the moment. People want to buy them. If you ask any social friends that you have, would you buy a property if it was 95 or 90% mortgage? They'd say yes. Of course they would, because people don't want to rent. The issue is at the moment is that they can't. Gaining the deposit of 20, 32%, including all fees, if you put it all together, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to put down. So people don't have that option at the moment. So what's happening is twofold. Prices have obviously come down. Why? First of all, people want to buy, but they can't. They can't afford the value. So what's happened is the people that were buying 5 million dirham homes, they need it at 1.85%. So they need, what's that? 5, 10, 1.5 million?
1.25.
1.25. Now they need 65% loan, 35% mortgage. So what's that? Give you maths.
65% loan, 35% deposit, you mean?
Yeah.
So 35% of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is it?
No.
It's 1.75.
No.
Well, 35% of 100 is 3.5. So
right. So you need a lot more money, basically, a lot more money. So it's not about the prices coming down. The prices have come down because people that could afford 5 million can now only afford 3 million houses. The people at the first time buyer struggling to get their deposit together, an 85% loan, now they need a 75% loan. So they don't have that extra 10%. So this is one factor in the market. It's the fact that
basically people have got to find a bigger deposit than they had to before.
Correct.
And because they had to find a bigger deposit, they now essentially their hands are tied because they don't have that deposit in savings.
Or they're choosing smaller houses.
So they have to choose a smaller house because the money they'd saved, would cover the deposit of a smaller property.
Correct.
Before. But hey, there's still plenty of the smaller houses being sold then, I would say.
There is.
So are they going down?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
So the people that are buying the smaller houses
have to buy the even smaller ones.
or rent because they don't have the deposit. So that's factor number one, the affordability. It's definitely not the sentiment that people don't want to buy. They want to buy. We're doing transactions. We're still open and we're still growing. People are buying. So what I read in the press of people not buying houses, it's not actually the press. It's the agents that you see saying deals are not happening.
How many property transactions take place every week or every month in Dubai through the land department on average at the moment?
Couldn't even tell you. A lot.
That's in the thousands or tens of thousands?
Thousands.
Or in the thousands.
Thousands.
So thousands of people every month are selling their properties?
Yes.
Okay. So those people that are wanting to sell a property that can't, they're believing that the market's gone down, so their price is too high, so they're struggling to get their price.
Correct.
And they're struggling to get their price, but they're missing the point because there is a market.
Correct.
And it's the same, I suppose, for classic cars, that the market goes up and down. Maybe the same for gold. Does the market go up and down?
We all know you only lose money when you sell. So, look, if you're a homeowner and the prices are coming down, it's not an issue. If you're not selling, it's not an issue. If you are selling and you want to move on, it's not an issue as well because you will be getting a bigger house for less money. The only issue in the whole thing is the cash flow of how much money you have to put down. Even on your new house, maybe you've got a big mortgage and you can't afford to move. So there's many factors. So that's factor number one. It's the affordability factor. The second factor, which is a big one, is also the amount of properties that are being built. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of affordable villas being built at the moment. You look at your Miras, your Mudons, anything sub 2-3 million, JBC one beds. There's a lot coming around the market. So the big question that I always get asked is, who's going to fill these houses? 2008, when I came here, JBR was just constructed. 2006 or 2007. And people go, oh my God, there's no lights on in JBR. No one's going to move into this. No, who is going to live here? This is all the Russians have bought these properties and they're going to be empty. Fast forward 10 years, it's probably the highest occupied development with the beachfront. I call it the Miami of Dubai. You've got your beachfront, your shops, you've got all that. People live there. So that conversation's happened for 12 years for me. Who's going to live there? So we're having the same situation now with your Damak Hills and your Akoya's, Mira and Sharma. It's a new one. It's 2 beds for $1 million dirham villas. Amazing.
Sharma, where's that?
Al Qudra Road.
Oh, okay.
So the main road now where all the affordable villas are.
Town centre.
Correct. And people are buying that. I think they had a launch the other day and sold out the whole thing in one day. Big queues of people. But you'll still have the naysayers that will say, who's going to live there? Who's going to live there? So look, there's 2 factors. There's the affordability and also the amount of villas handing over. So people have got more options at the moment, and that's the honest truth. How I can see the prices coming back up, and this is the big thing people want to know from me, I don't dictate that. If I could, obviously, as a homeowner, you want prices to go back up. But we don't dictate that. The ways it will come back up, very simple. There's a new first-time buyer's mortgage comes in. If that comes in, the market will rocket. I believe that you'll have people, if they can get 85-90% mortgages, which should happen soon, hopefully, touch wood, and the Dubai's in a good place to do it, that will facilitate so many buyers. So having a first-time buyer's market will definitely help. And the other factor is that I think that if you look at London, you've got your SW1, your SE, South East, all these different areas, they're going to have different price codes. So the further out you get, ideally, from Sheikh Zayed Road, potentially, or Dubai Marina, or downtown, that's your SW1. And the further you get out, you should start to see the price difference from there to there. So that is going to happen over time. But yeah, prices definitely have come down. But the one thing I'll say to everyone that's listening is not why are they going down. We know why they're going down. This is controlled. This is what I said before. It's a controlled dive. It's happened for 4 years, 5 years. It's not, oh my God, what's going on? We know that the sanctions have been put in place. This is officially cooling measures. It was put in place from the government to stop the market from overheating because it was overheating. So we know what's going on. It's just people have their opinion on the market, and whatever reason they may say the market's going down, we know why it's going down.
When you look at the quality of product compared to what was produced here 10, 12, 13 years ago when I first came, is it better?
Incredible. So a good example, I bought a villa in Jumeirah Golf Estates about 2 years ago. It's called Redwood Park, I think it was. Lovely townhouse, 3-bedroom on the golf course. Didn't view it, just knew it was a nice price. I knew it was a good location. The payment plan was great. I walked into there and honestly, I was blown away by it because I've seen what's been handed over before from other developers in 2008, 2009. You've got your thin granite carpet, and you've got your metal rods for where the kitchen is, and then you've got your thin granite there as well. The springs in 2008, if you remember them. And today you walk in and they're European finishes. But they've realised now that they can't just sell a floor plan. People want to see what they're getting. The people are not buying with their head anymore. They're buying with their heart. They're going to see, can my family live here? Can we bring up our child here? 2006 and 2007 was ROI. That's it, ROI, baby. That's it. You put down the check. Can we flip it same day? That is a vehicle. Today, it's a different type of buyer. It's about having the home for the person.
The population has increased year on year.
So it's at 3,060,000 now.
In Dubai.
And I think 18 months ago, 2 years ago, it was 2.6 million.
And that continues to grow. Which means, so even though they're bringing more property onto the market, with more people coming into the market, there's obviously a requirement to home those people, house those people. So it isn't ever going to be typically an oversupply scenario with that many people coming in. The other thing you have to consider, I suppose, is it possible for someone that's renting who has to find a big deposit to be able to go and get a loan for the deposit?
Yes. Definitely.
So if they can get a personal loan for the deposit, then that's a better thing than just sitting on the rental spectrum, correct?
Listen, it's not something we advise, but it can be done, and people are doing it. We don't do it personally, but I know people that are getting a loan from one bank to get on the property ladder. So people have got the sentiment that they want to buy the house. So it's whether or not people are going out of their way to buy the house. If people weren't willing to buy, issue. People are willing to buy. I think 81% of our transactions last month are people either lived in a home or were a tenant.
Okay, so let's just think about this for a second. People worry about buying a property when the market's going down because of negative equity. But they stay renting because they don't want negative equity. So that rental amount that they pay every year is an expense that they have to live somewhere.
It's an invisible expense that they see. So they think that they're not losing money. I've had this conversation I push everyone to buy properties because in my opinion, the richest people in the world own property. McDonald's, a real estate company, they own the land. That's where their business comes from. All the money that I've made from, moving to Dubai, yes, I've done very well at Allsopp and whatever, but property's been fantastic for me. And even now, I go to bed and I make money from rent. And I try and explain this to people that you can go to sleep making money because you're renting your property to someone. But people do have this theory in their head where they think, I'm not buying because prices are coming down. So hypothetically, property is worth 3 million. They're willing to pay 200,000 dirhams for 3 years and lose 600,000 over 2 years. But they won't buy a house because it might go down 200,000. So you try and work the maths out with people, but it is the fear of negative equity. It's not a problem. It's your home. So if it goes down, to me, it doesn't matter. My house has gone down, but I live there.
Yeah, but that's because a lot of people look at their property as being part of their portfolio and part of their future planning provisions. I think it's nuts because you're always going to have a home no matter where you are. There's always going to be an amount of money tied into a place that you live.
Of course.
That's going to be home. And whether you're 65 and retired and your kids are off your hands and you're retiring into a holiday resort somewhere, or whether you're back in the UK and you've got a family home and you've got a family Christmas. I mean, how many people are going to take their family home, sell it and buy a 1-bedroom flat when they retire? They're not. So that home always remains exclusive and outside of the actual portfolio that they've got because it's home.
But even if you're a one homeowner, you own one property and you say, do you know what, is it a good time to buy? My issue is with it, if you take both scenarios, so you're a renter and you're a homeowner, let's say whatever market you're in, the price completely falls apart. Your house now is worth 0, but you've paid the mortgage over 20 years. You still own a house. No matter what the value is, you've got a roof over your head for your children. The renter that's worried about the property value, in 20 years, the landlord goes, get out. You don't own anything. So anyone that can afford to buy, yes, people want to see the zeros in the bank. I like the zeros in the bank balance. Having that extra 0 feels great. But it feels greater owning a house and having an asset that's yours. But a lot of people, I know people like it myself, that are afraid to buy because they want to watch it there in case of a rainy day. But fast forward 10 years, you're not in a good position that you should be in. People are not willing to act now.
How easy is it to get a mortgage?
Easy. Lenders will lend. As long as you match their criteria, you live in Dubai, your debt burden ratio isn't as high as I think 50% at the moment, which means that your outgoings are not as matching up to 50%. They will take your rent into consideration at the moment. All you've got to do, go and get pre-approved. We've got a mortgage company. We've got 21 lenders on our books. So we do it all for you. We'll just go to you, right, we will go and source the best interest rate for you personally. Give us your documents, your pay slips. We will come back with a pre-approval. Give us 5 days. 5 days. We will get you a letter from the bank to say, congratulations, you can now buy a house. Start viewing. And that's it. It is so simple to do it. And one of the things that I was talking about before, we are going to do a seminar for first-time buyers and just explain how easy it is to buy, the benefits of buying. It's not about the commission for me. The commission will come and go. This is sales. But it's also important that I want people that I know or people involved in to buy houses because that is their future income. And I think people that are not educated correctly in the future, it will negatively impact
I think a lot. Look, it's a great point that you make. I also think it's really important for people to buy a house because they need to have some sort of financial responsibility, and it's a part of growing up, isn't it?
Correct.
You know, you make your first step, you buy your first car when you're younger, and then you take a step, and then you buy a home.
Yeah.
And that's buying a home means you've got to kind of like man up and be mature, and guess what? It's a benefit to you in the long run, but it's the right steps to take.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's
just on that. Just one last thing. So we talk about people who live here, and we're talking about them taking ownership and being an adult. People pay 5,000 dirhams a month for renting a room in JBR, as an example. Your mortgage on a 1 million dirham property is 5,000 dirhams. So there's not the ownership, it's that choice whether or not they want to buy or not. So, you know, when you actually break this down to someone and say you can either pay someone else's mortgage or your own, they all will say to you, do you know what, Spencer? I want to buy, but do you know what? Can't afford the deposit. And that's where Dubai is at the moment.
But what can you get for 1 million dirhams?
Get some in Marina. We've got a JBR studio today, 825,000. For 1.25 million, I'll get you on JBR. Literally, you open the door and real cinemas at your doorstep. 780 square feet. So you can get some goods at the moment. It's a great time to buy.
There's deals out there, aren't there? Clearly there's deals out there. Buying and selling real estate. Okay, we haven't talked about one last thing, okay, before we finish. Investors.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about homeowners here.
Yep.
What percentage of your clients are property investors here?
20%, maybe 15%.
Okay, and what kind of demographic is the investor typically here in the UAE? Is it across all demographics? And what kind of things are the investors looking for?
There's two types of investors. So first of all, you've got your...
Rich or rich?
Yeah, rich or really rich. No, you get two types of investors. You get your ones that want capital appreciation and ones that want the yield. The yield investors are very much like your UK investors. They want to buy loads of properties. I'm a yield investor. So when I buy properties, my goal is I want to keep buying properties to pay me my salaries. That's it. So every month I know how much money I've got coming in. And hopefully I can continue to grow that portfolio. That's me. You've got your other type investor, which I used to be, which is you'd buy something, let's say, you take an example, something from Emaar today. You'd buy an off-plan launch at Emaar, you'd put your 10% down, and let's say close to completion, you bought it for $1 million, it might be worth 1.5 million. But if you've put down 500,000 and you sold it for 1.5, your ROI is 100% on your money.
Oh, God. So hopefully there's been a big bleep through that bit right now. Okay, it's been good talking to Lewis again. Another episode, more stuff relating to real estate, and actually really interesting stuff from an investor's point of view, really interesting stuff from a buyer and seller, and how you go about getting yourself exposed to the market, some of the problems you might face. And whatever you do, make sure that you take financial, mortgage and investment advice from somebody other than me. Right, guys, take it easy. Hope you enjoyed the show. Look forward to the next one. We'll be at the same time, same place next week. We'll see you soon. And whatever you do, make sure that you do what this guy does and what you think I do, which is to get out and make it happen.
Bye.